Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have Borrasca, Part 1. So, we're doing essentially Borrasca month. We're trying something new for the show when it comes to long-form stories. We've been doing a lot of long-form stories lately, like multi-parters. Mm-hmm. And it is a bit of a workload, like trying to fit in 50, 60 pages worth of, or even 100 pages of content, because of you have to get individual parts, and sometimes we skip parts or we skim through parts. Mm-hmm. So I decided we're going to try something just to see if it works better for these multi-parter series that Reddit likes to do, where we take a single part we do a part an episode. So for the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to be doing Borrasca. Why are we doing Borrasca? Well, because it was on the list, and I found out it was apparently being declared the best creepypasta ever.
Oh, ever? Yeah, it said the best of 2015 or something.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was
Is
the
it
best
also
of 2015.
ever, though?
People have been declaring it that, but I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. Mm-hmm. So I heard that, I was like, okay, I kind of want to do this on the show.
So the bar is high.
Yeah, the bar's already high. It was high for all of us from the get-go, because, I found that about that. I was like, I just rolled my eyes about it. It's like, all right, let's see if this puppy's actually the best. And then
fast forward to 4 weeks later, it's like, oh my god, it's so good.
Oh my god, it's epic. Mm-hmm. To its credit, so Borrasca is it was written on Reddit NoSleep, or posted on Reddit NoSleep, and it was written by the Dalek Emperor, or otherwise known as c.k.walker. Now, C.K. Walker has gone on to become a screenwriter for a show called, for a relatively new show called House on Haunted Hill, the Netflix series. So, okay,
it's another one of those situations where a creepypasta writer
went on to have a career, have a pretty successful career so far. So I was like, okay, so that again. Bar's pretty high.
Yeah, it's a little higher now, maybe. Yeah.
So let's take a look at the story that kind of that started their career, essentially.
They?
C.K. Walker.
Oh, it sounded like you were using the they as in multiple people wrote this.
No. Gotcha. They, them.
Yes.
All right, so it starts with this kid, Sam, and his family having to move to the town of Drisking. Having to move to the small town of Drisking, Missouri, after his dad, who was a sheriff or a police officer, fucks something up at their place in St. Louis, or St. Louis, and so they have to move. They have to get out of the way, go somewhere out of the way to deal with that. So they moved to Drisking. It's like this mountainside Ozarks Sea small town. And shortly after they move, he meets some of the neighbor kids that are his age, Kyle and then Kimmer.
I forgot to mention that his sister's really pissed about leaving.
Yeah. His sister, whose name is
Whitney or something.
Yeah, Whitney is pretty pissed off because she's got a boyfriend in St. Louis, and she's she's a honor student and such. And so
she's not pissed off because she's an honor student.
Yeah, she's pissed off because of the boyfriend situation.
Indeed.
Yeah. And so, she's not too happy, but suck it up, princess. You're moving.
Every teenager moving at that age is like,
Yeah, exactly. So Sammy meets two friends pretty quickly over the summer when this happens. And they basically show him around, and they go biking through the woods in the mountain side. And it's not till the end of the summer that they decide to bring him to this super cool secret tree house in the middle of the woods called the Three Trees.
Yes.
Or the Triple Trees.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, they also have to take. Kyle gets stuck taking his younger brother, as well.
Ike.
Yes, Ike. Wait, is it actually?
No, it's not Ike. It's a Parker reference, yeah. It's Parker.
Yeah,
Parker, yeah. So they take them. They bike out to the location. It's like there's a mountain trail called Peckett's or Perkins. Fuck. I did read the story. I promise.
I guess Prescott.
Prescott, yes.
Yep.
I like how you're looking over the story. I'm like cleaning glitter off of my phone because this side.
Would you like to continue?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and he asks why is everything here Prescott this, Prescott that, and it's because they're one of the rich families in town that basically owns half the town.
More than half the town.
More than half the town. That's why. This is because they're fancy, rich, not founding fathers, but
kind of is actually because it was
well, they don't show
the mine dried up,
and then they showed it's founding fathers, but no, revitalized father, basically the adoptive founding father, because the family showed up in the 50s as the place was becoming a ghost town. Essentially.
Yeah, but because they didn't ever want to leave, they kind of kept life in the town.
Yeah.
And you're missing the key point. We don't know if they own EB Games.
That's true. The GameStop. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, but
yeah,
semantics. Yeah. That is the crucial thing, because our bro Sammy here is a gamer.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as all protagonists should be.
Yeah. So they go out to this the Triple Tree, which is the fort. So yeah, they're at the Triple Tree. It's pretty awesome looking. It's this it's multi-floored, isn't it? It's a 2-floor, multi-roomed treehouse. But before you can go in, there's a ritual that has to be done as they pull out a knife.
Yes,
and then he hands the knife, or Kyle hands the knife to Sammy, because he has to go up to the side of the tree and carve his name into the tree. And then he has to say this creepy poem. Mm-hmm. Do you have it right now, or
yes.
Do I have to pull it up?
I have it. Underneath the triple tree, there is a man who waits for me. And should I go or should I stay, my fate's the same either way.
It's a really creepy poem.
Mm-hmm. And that's how he responds. That's how he responds to the whole thing as well.
Yeah.
That's creepy, but okay. Can you slow down and tell me again?
Yeah. And then he repeats it, and then Parker carves his name in, but his brother has to help him, put his name in. Mm-hmm. And then he does the poem as well. And then they're allowed to go in. And they go in, and it's pretty cool. There's this really weird room, though. It's got a mattress in it, and it smells musty.
Yeah. It's like a homeless guy's been living there. That's what Sam asks, essentially.
Yeah. And it's got this that's actually not what Kimber thinks is creepy about it. Mm-hmm. And she points up to the ceiling, and there's this writing on it saying, "Road to the gates of hell,
as we make our way to heaven,
the Nazi lines,
Primo Victoria."
Alright, sorry.
That's all written on the ceiling.
No.
Mile 1.
Mile marker 1.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But no, what it actually says is...
Yeah, it actually says "Road to the Gate of Hell, mile marker 1." Mm-hmm. So that's kind of creepy. And then when they go back into the main room, Parker's written "fart" on the wall. Or, I think it's on the floor, yeah.
It's hilarious.
And then he's Kyle's even "You're hilarious." Rolls
Parker's
his eyes.
"Yup, yeah, I am." This little kid going "Yeah, fucking awesome."
But anyway, they go to, or they basically just sit around, because Kyle pulls out from a secret compartment a beer.
Yeah, he had to stab the knife into the wall and pull the board out.
Yeah, he basically uses a prying.
Yeah, and it was 2 beers.
Oh, 2 beers, yes. Mm-hmm. Pulls out 2 beers. And they start drinking them. They taste nasty, but let's see if we can get drunk. Are we drunk? And so they have basically it's a nice bonding moment, in the end of summer. Very I found it very Stand By Me-esque, end of summer thing, and then school kind of starts, and we kind of get a little bit of throughout the next couple of months of school. We do kind of get moments in their lives at school and stuff.
With bullies and shit.
Bullies, learning about the kids in the area, they're basically kind of day in the life of like school kid adventures.
And the bullies were like the daughters of the Prescotts or something?
Yeah, the bitches.
Yeah, batches.
The little like clique that thinks that the girl, the one girl that the guys all hang out with, is like ugly and like they're just being assholes.
Yeah.
They're being random. They're being the usual like cliquey school girl, like the mean girls.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then there's also like this other guy that shows up while they're at recess. Oh yeah, they also hear this weird metallic sound. Sorry. While they were at the treehouse, they heard this metallic sound across the entire forest.
It was loud enough that it was like deafening.
Yeah, it's just this grinding metal sound. And they ask our friend Sammy there asks,
what the fuck?
what's going on? And they're like, that's Borrasca. What the fuck's Borrasca? It's like, it's a place.
Like, who the fuck is Borrasca first?
Yeah, not who, where. It's a place where bad things happen. And then the little brother Parker mentions something about the skinned men.
Also, I hate to say it, because you said little brother Parker, it sounded like this small guy who is like a
priest.
A priest.
Yeah,
yes,
no.
indeed.
Kyle's brother Parker talks about the skinned men, and Kyle doesn't really believe it at all because he's in the double digits, man. He doesn't believe in kid stuff now.
Yeah.
Even though he's hanging out with 9-year-old stuff. He's not that much different from the others.
No, of course not. He says an extra digit on his age.
Yeah.
That makes him cute.
Then anyway, we go back to the school and recess, and they hear it again, that grinding noise. And then some kids come over to Sam and he asks them about Borrasca or something like that, and we got a little bit of like recess phone tag as like, hey, get over here, Sarah, get over here. It's like
it wasn't Sarah.
It wasn't Sarah.
It's like Danielle or something.
Was it Danielle? Fuck.
There isn't a Sarah in every creepypasta.
I thought there was.
No.
I'm also really going fast through this.
Just search for Dan. We'll see if I can find him for you.
Danielle, here it is.
Yeah,
it was Danielle. Yeah, and the guy's name was Phil, and so he like asks Phil about the skinned men, and how like kids go missing and stuff like that because of them. And like he's like, Danielle, come here. And it's like, well, what do you want? And it's like, yeah, what do you you saw the skinned men, didn't you? It's like, no, no, Paige did. Oh, you guys are weird. And then she like walks off, and then we find out that Paige was Danielle's sister, who saw the skinned men and then vanished, like went missing. So there's again this forebodingness mixed in with the slice of life, like getting into a new school and like kind of adventures. And then what happens next? Christmas happens. Sorry, I'm trying. Oh yeah, he asks his dad. At some point, Sammy asks his dad about Borrasca, and he's never heard of it. And he thinks that his sister's the one that's like telling him these scary stories, and so like.
And his dad's before you continue, his dad when after he mentioned Borrasca to his dad, he asked if his dad has been hearing those metal sounds, and his dad said yeah. But when he asked the sheriff about it, the sheriff said that that's something from a plot of land that he owns. Oh, no, from a plot of land somebody up in the mountains knows. I think it said him.
Private property it was, not him.
I thought it said his private property. I asked the sheriff about it, and he told me the noise comes from from private property in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
I read that as his private property.
Okay. So then, like again, like he's but Sam like basically kind of accidentally gets his sister in trouble with his dad because he thinks that she's telling him like scary stories.
His dad just keeps ignoring him repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like he just wants a reason to install chaos within the family.
Yeah. But then Christmas happens, and over Christmas break, like they all kind of come together as a family. Like it's nice. They all get what they want, or like the kids get what they want.
More than what they normally
More
get.
than what they want. I wonder because like the whole
their entire list.
Yeah, their entire list. Wow.
It's like even though it's a smaller town, he's getting. I guess Dad is getting paid more, so yay.
Yeah. But then we cut to like back to school and such. Kimber's getting bullied by those. Gets bullied by those girls in the hallway. But then
Did
Kyle
she, like, shoved around and shit?
yeah. But then Kyle and Sammy like lay down some sick like burn that I'm going to mention later in my actual thoughts.
Okay.
And then they all have to go to a meet like a what the fuck are they called? An assembly in the gym. And they think it's going to be a DARE assembly, or but it might be like this historical society assembly. Turns out it's a historical society thing, where they're talking about the town, and we get a little bit more information about the town, like how it was a ghost town in the 50s, and the Prescotts came in and revitalized it. And Jimmy Prescott, the younger, like the son of the matriarch or the patriarch of the family of Prescotts, is there, and he's very charismatic, but he gives like some of the kids the willies, just like the I don't trust him kind of thing.
Yeah,
he's too charismatic.
And it's normally like his father that shows up, but he went crazy or something.
Yeah, he went crazy like a year prior, so like he's no longer like in the public eye. And so our friend or our narrator Sammy performs social suicide, as it is mentioned in the story, and asks
I like that term, by the way.
and asks a question about like
why the mine's closed.
Yeah, why the mine's closed, and was it here that we get about the fact that like there's some kids died in the mines, or does he just like mention that like the mines ran dry? And
essentially, yeah.
It's not until after that we find out that there was actually some kids that died in an accident there.
Yeah.
There was some kind of explosion that happened because they were basically they closed down they shut down the mines by like blowing them up with like controlled explosions, and then the kids have some like silly kid antics, but it's like, oh, you think they use C4? And it's like boom, and just like pretend to be exploding because they've been drinking the water.
Yeah,
because they think the C4 has contaminated the water.
No, they confirmed that.
Oh shit!
That it was like,
well, it messed with the water table.
Oh right, because gotcha. So it's like. To quote from the story here, it's like, so like we all drink the water, so we all have C4 in our bodies, and we could explode at any minute. Kyle said excitedly. Do you think that's what happens to all the missing people? I asked him. Just sitting there one day, and then boom, yeah, dude. Just like, yeah, kids being kids, pretty much saying silly things, dumb things, and then halfway through one of their classes, sometime later, the teacher gets a call, and Sam has to go home. And his mom's there to pick him up, and she's crying, and so he thinks it's something Dad did, because that's how they got to Drisking in the first place.
I got the feeling that he was like, Dad is potentially, there's something bad happened to Dad.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Sorry.
Like while working because he's a cop.
Yeah, it's like, is it Dad? And it's like, no, it's. And then they find out that it's Whitney has gone missing, and then he tries to help with the investigation. Like he tells him like everything he knows about like where she went after like the day before or like that morning.
Yeah.
And they take that into account. But then like he's dead set that it's got to be like the Borrasca thing, like the skinned men. It's like. Just go. We'll like let the adults do it. It's like, no, I can help. It's like, no, you've done enough, son. Like, go, and he just like stomps off. So he's really angry and like terrified and confused. And then he starts thinking it just kind of clicks in his head, and he sneaks by all the police in the family and bikes out to the triple tree house. And his friends are waiting for him at the usual stop where they put their bikes and stuff. And because they had the same idea, they figured he'd be there. He'd show up there. And they all go to the treehouse, and they find on the tree, after looking through the treehouse for Whitney has put her name on the tree, like all the other kids. And then that's when the creepy grinding noise goes across the forest, and like or like freaking out is like, oh shit, she did like put her name on the tree, kind of thing. And yeah, so we basically go off part one with Whitney going missing. I apologize for just hacking away at that rundown. This is why I want to do these in multiple parts, because we wouldn't be able to, like, can you imagine if we'd done, like multi-parts of this? We'd still be going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be an entire episode of the rundown of this.
And then, it'd be like an hour of the rundown.
And because there's so much information, we would be missing a whole bunch of things. And
Exactly, yeah. So, we'll go into Everyone Expects the Grandma Inquisitions at this point. Alright, so I'm going to start with this quote here. But a month later, when we pulled up to our new house in Drisking, Missouri, she was sitting right next to me, texting viciously on her phone. So I think it's supposed to say next to me, texting viciously. Just the two is missing between those two words.
oh, it's just next me?
Yeah, just next to me. Yeah,
And it's also a front butt.
yeah, man, that's true.
You kind of found a front butt on your own.
Don't care.
All right. That's
I
fair. I gloss over all front butts and front ends because he's got this.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that's what I do too.
Yeah. I do notice them though because
I know some too. I also like yesterday I caught myself like actually reading. I was like, oh, that one has an and too, and it's like, yeah, it would work without the and. It does. It'll be fine with the and, but it doesn't need the and, or it doesn't need the but, but it works otherwise. Anyway, next one. There were no bad areas, and the entire town looked like something you'd see on a postcard. Now this one's really nitpicky. Postcard is one word, but in the story it's two words. It's postcard. But postcard is a compound word.
Alright.
Fair. And on that same vein, we climbed down the ladder one by one and then started the walk back to the trailhead in an unfamiliar silence. Trailhead, contractions. It's trailhead, one word.
I've never even heard the term trailhead.
It's actually like it's a common force like term, like for.
It's essentially like the entrance of the trail.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know that a river, like the opening of a river, is actually called the Delta?
Yeah, the River Delta.
Yeah. Cool.
The more you
know. Reading Rainbow. Anyway. The next one I have here is, it didn't make any sense to me, but I shrugged it off. I did remember my mom giving Whitney some menial tasks, like getting the car washed and setting up some utilities to get her out of the house. Maybe she met him once, and they started dating over text. Teenagers are weird. The rest of the school week followed much like that at first. Whoa. Ow. Whiplash on the subjects. I feel like...
What?
I feel like that last sentence could have just been in the next paragraph. Because it just kind of comes out of... It just, like, it's talking about how, like, Whitney had a new boyfriend, and then it just says, the rest of the school week followed much like the first. Like, just kind of a little bit different.
And did the start of the next paragraph talk about the next week?
Yeah.
Then yes. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh... And sometimes, like, the story does that. Like, it had a couple of moments where, like, it would just... Suddenly, we'd be like, whoop, and to, like, a couple months later, or like a month later.
I don't know if I would call this instance whiplash, because you're not being thrown back and forth. It's almost like getting sucker punched. You're getting hit with it before you're expecting it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, they get sucker punched by time passing. Mm-hmm. And then my last one for my grammar inquisitions. The mountain had simply ran out of iron ore. Okay, this is in dialogue as Jimmy Pratchett. Jimmy Prescott is talking about the mines and some of that, but it's run out, not ran out.
What?
Like the mountain had simply run out of ore, not the mountain had simply ran out of ore.
Like it ran out of ore.
But is it dialogue?
It is dialogue. So it's super. Like I will admit, it is dialogue, but
okay. Here's the answer. The fault isn't on the writer. The fault is on Jimmy.
Is on the
Jimmy
character.
fucked up.
Yeah, the character fucked up.
Yeah.
Also, it could be like some kind of like Ozarkian twang, like the mountain had simply ran out of iron ore. Like that kind of like it could. There could be an accent to that.
Sure.
And again, because it's dialogue, it's forgivable. Mm-hmm. But I just had to get that out there. And that is my grammar inquisitions. So, Mikey, what do you got? How many butts and ants did you find in the story at the beginning of a sentence? Because by God, I noticed them.
Alright. So, we'll start off.
With the first paragraph?
Yes.
He told me, like, last week, he hated me because of the first paragraph.
Yeah. At that point, I'd only read the first paragraph, and I was already cringing, because I was like, if this is how the story's gonna read, I'm not gonna have a good time.
Well, that's fine.
Because in the first...
You just need to learn to be less picky at ands and buts. They're gonna happen. Even in good writing, they happen.
Yeah, but it's less noticeable in good writing because it only happens once in an entire novel.
I don't think it would happen in once in a novel.
I've seen it. A front and from one of my favorite authors. I noticed, I was like, what the heck? And then...
Bravos!
Just sets the book on fire. Never again.
Right?
No.
Oh, no? Okay.
Terry Goodkind.
Okay. Good kind!
You are now bad kind.
Anyway. So, the first paragraph has a front and a front because.
Gotcha.
Do you want me to just read the entire paragraph?
I mean, honestly, like, you can. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
For the audience, perhaps. Because, that's what people come to listen to us for, is the grammar inquisitions.
Duh.
And the front end and butt and
Yeah, specifically, that's where our views spike then.
Yeah.
Then as soon as that ends...
It's really that first section of our show.
Yeah.
And then, viewership just drops.
100%, yeah.
It's a long story, but one you've never heard before. This story is about a place that dwells on the mountain, a place where bad things happen. And you may think you know about the bad things. You may decide you have it all figured out, but you don't. Because the truth is worse than monsters or men.
Yeah, I literally read that entire paragraph because I knew that's what you were going to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, none of those ands, buts, and even that because need to be there, and it would, that story, that whole paragraph would still be perfectly, you'd be able to read it just as well without the ands, buts, and because.
There was no but in there.
There is a but at the very, near the end.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there's...
Yeah. Well, it's not a front butt.
Oh, it's not a front butt? Okay. But the because is a, is a front because. And, because is an adequate word to use there, but even if you remove that, it still works as a sentence.
Yeah, it doesn't change what's being said.
Yeah, if you change it without and take the and because out, I feel it adds more of an impact.
Yeah.
And I'll just read it. The story is about a place that dwells on the mountain, a place where bad things happen. You may think you know about the bad things. You may decide you have it all figured out. But you don't. The truth is worse than monsters or men.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
because there's less filler words in there.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. So much better. Alright. We've already talked about the front butt. Alright. Another front end. Alright, so I'll start off with some dialogue. Kyle glanced at his mom, who had just been handed her third mimosa. Yeah, sure. And that afternoon, with the ease and simplicity of our age, Kyle and I became best of friends. So it's a front end.
Yeah.
It'd just be that afternoon.
Yeah, it really is. I know why people like seeing it there. I know why people would do that because they think people sometimes will think that will add emphasis. It's and that day, but also you can still just have that same emphasis with that on that day or which one is it or what was it? Is
and that afternoon.
Yeah, that afternoon, me and Kyle became the best of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that people use the and as a punctuating last sentence kind of thing or last statement.
Yeah,
but you don't necessarily need it for the beginning of a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next thing I feel this sentence needs either a comma or an ellipses for effect.
Okay.
With my dad at work all the time, my mom consumed with her new friendships, and my sister locked in her room all day, the summer was ours to take, and take it we did. Mm-hmm. So it needs a comma at ours to take.
And take it we did.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember reading that, it's like, take it and take it we did. What? Is this repeating itself?
Yeah, it's like saying, but like the summer is ours to take it, and to take it we did.
Yeah.
Like those are two things that we can do with summer.
Yeah, well, like it's like, to take it and take it we did. Like, again, the punctuating end of a statement. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because, like, I remember fumbling over that word, that sentence a little bit, realizing what, like, shortly after what it was trying to do. Mm-hmm. But, like, yeah, it's like, just repeat the word. Oh, no, okay, no, it's the same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or depending on how cinematic you want to be with it, you could go did, like, all caps.
Yeah.
Take it we did.
Yeah, exactly. We made that summer our bitch. God.
Yeah.
I just imagine some magic. Well, then again, Kyle like curses like a motherfucker in this game, in this show.
He cursed like twice.
He cursed. Well, yeah, but he was the only one of them cursing.
It's because he's old enough that he can do that.
Yeah. He's in double digits.
Yeah.
He's in the double digits.
He's the only one old enough and cool enough to do it.
Yeah.
And he has the proper amount of street cred.
Yeah.
Whereas Sam is new there, so he's still building his cred.
Clearly.
Alright, the next one I have, I feel it needs a the mixed in.
Okay.
So, we pulled up to Trailhead and leaned our bikes against the wooden signpost which read West Rim, Prescott, or Trail.
So
the Trailhead?
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's not the signpost? I thought it was.
the wooden signpost.
Yeah, it's to add emphasis on the signpost.
Audience, I've never wanted to kill Gabriel Yellow so hard right now.
Come at him, bro. Add epic fight music and sounds now. Or add nothing.
Yeah.
Alright, and we have another front end.
Okay.
I studied the tree as I caught my breath. It's pretty awesome. I smiled. And it was.
And it was good. Was that what was that? Was it? And it was a sentence.
Yep.
Does that entire sentence have to be there? Honestly,
Again, it's the whole like wanting to like punctuate a statement. It doesn't always work. Well, but sometimes they do it for effect.
Well, here's the thing: if it's just him saying it's pretty cool, and then the narrator doesn't chime in, it could just be him being nice. It's like, oh, it's cool, but it's like on a tree that's like bending over, and like as like the door falls off.
Yeah, like maybe like have a comma rather than a period if you want to do that. It's like, and it was an exclamation point at the on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll put that as the start of the description of what it looks like.
Because I believe in the dialogue, he's like, it's ...
Yep.
It is. It's so cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like that.
And then it does continue on and say, they hadn't lied. The treehouse was the biggest I'd ever seen. So
it was. Mm-hmm. And it was. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Alright. The next thing that I have issue with is when Kimber sings the ritual song.
Yeah.
There's no commas.
Oh.
So
Yes,
she just
I have a note on that.
Sings it straight out, not pausing.
That being said, Sam did respond by saying, okay, that's creepy, but can you say that slower?
Yeah, because she's like...
So she may have actually said it like that. That's the way the character talks.
We gotta stop bringing up La Bruja.
No. Never.
You guys bring it up every like you bring it up like half the time on this show, and then you bring it up most of the time on the Patreon episodes.
It's not that we're bringing up La Bruja. We're just bringing up this one reference.
That's the way we're say. It's dialogue.
Yeah. Because the way that I have a note on this as well. Yeah, the way it's read, it's underneath the triple tree, there's a man who waits for me, and should I go or should I stay? That's the fate. Either way.
Also, if that's how she's saying it, like, man, like how many times she had to like say this and memorize it?
Fair.
Are they in fact the gatekeepers of the triple tree house?
Yeah.
Like a fort. What's it called? Like it's actually called like Fort something.
Oh yeah. Ambercott Fort.
Ambercott Fort. Yeah. I wonder why it's called Ambercott. I have a feeling that's going to be the man's name underneath the tree
It's
house.
named that for a reason.
Yeah, it's named that for a reason. I'm very suspect about that.
He sleeps under the tree in a cot that's like a yellowy orange color.
Maybe not all the tunnels were collapsed. We're going into actual thoughts too quickly here.
Yeah, that's right. We should stop.
Yeah, grammar positions. There we go. Mikey, continue.
I bet.
So I have a bit of a story stumble, which is technically a grammar issue.
Okay.
I was so angry I did the only thing that I could have to make my rage known. I stomped upstairs, slammed the door, and then sat on my bed in disbelief.
Okay.
My issue is could of. It should either be could have or could think of.
The could of, as in like of f.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's like some. There's the I think either the author or narrator's like slang getting bleeding into the writing a little bit because I could have like that's some short form. That's some short form writing.
Yes.
It's the way the character talks.
Except it's narrated.
It's the way that the character thinks.
Alright. And then at the end, I was like, okay, we're doing well. And then the last couple paragraphs have 3 front ends.
It's for emphasis.
Yeah. It's actually only situational that's for emphasis. Otherwise, it's not needed.
It's never needed.
You live in black and white. I live in gray.
I live in yellow. What are you talking about? Yellow and all the shades.
You live in black and yellow. I live in gray.
That's fine. That's all right. Yeah. Black and all the shades up to white are acceptable because they're not actual
Better
colors.
one. You live in black and yellow. I live in poop.
You're not wrong.
Because brown. Black and yellow is kind of makes like a brownish color or a poop color.
Yeah, but brown is also tactically yellow.
Yeah, but it also makes a poop.
So I'm also living in poop.
Yes.
At least partially in poop.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright.
We're getting sidetracked. Mikey, go ahead.
Yeah.
I kept calling Whitney's name, waiting for Kyle to yell that he'd found her, or that there was at least some sign of her. And then I heard Kimber quietly say my name from where she stood at the triple tree. I ran over and tried to follow her eyes to confirm what I already knew was there. And then I found it, freshly carved near the top. Whitney W. My breath froze in my chest, and my vision blurred with unwelcome tears. And as the sun took its last desperate breath before plunging into the deep of the horizon, a deafening metallic whirl sang out from the wilderness and spilled down the mountainside.
God, I love that ending though. Like even with the ants, I still love that fucking ending. That's a solid detail, solid described ending there.
Yes.
It's just kind of ruined by that ant.
Yeah, but 3 ants.
Yeah.
But it's none of those situations. If you take those out, it says the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So
sorry, they do not hug out at the end of the episode story. It's just he starts crying as he realizes that Whitney's gone. As the
I think it says like one of them. Like
I thought
Kyle leans into Kimber or something.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why I thought they hugged. Like they started hugging like for comfort as that sound happened. But
anyway, that's the end of my grammar inquisitions. So whenever you're ready.
Sure. 1 second. So on to me. I didn't have many, and one of them I already spoke about, which is the poem that should be structured like a poem, or the song that should be structured like a poem,
and not like.
Yeah.
All right, slow down.
I'll say this though. I'll go back to that for a second though. If it said it says Kimber sang them out, and then said the the verse. But if it was Kimber quickly sang out, then you know from the get-go that she sang it quick.
Yeah.
Which would make sense as to why there's no commas. Because that's how the character talks. I know.
You're only allowed to say that once an episode. That is now I'm limiting you to one per episode. So choose wisely.
Fine. How dare you?
You're already done with this one. But you've already spent it for this turn.
But you just installed the rule now, so I get one for
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Who edits this episode, gamer?
Me?
No, you don't.
Oh, really? I thought I was dead. I think we're getting off topic
Yes.
here. The only other grammar-related one I have is in regards to the quote, I bit my tongue and carved Sam W. into a blank piece of bark underneath someone named Paul S. Parker went next, but had so much trouble with the knife that Kyle had to help him. So my problem with that is that when I read it like I bit my tongue and carved Sam W. into a blank piece of bark underneath someone named Paul S. Parker went next.
So is there no but there's no punctuation?
There's punctuation, but it's also proper punctuation if you are saying someone's name, where it is Paul S. period Parker. I thought it was Paul Parker, and S is the short form of his middle name.
Gotcha.
So I thought that he was literally carving this in underneath some guy named Paul Parker that's above him, carving right in above him.
Parker's actually just his actual name is Paul S. Parker, and he's just on his on his brother's shoulders.
Yeah, totally.
On the higher
There
spot.
you go. Yeah. So I stumbled over that.
Yeah, that's definitely a story stumble.
Yeah. Well, and then before that, actually, I thought that Paul S. Parker was the name that he wrote under.
Oh.
And then I was like, wait, no, but it's still talking about Parker, so it was literally under a guy. But the way that could be rectified is just, I bit my tongue and carved Sam W. into a blank piece of bark underneath someone named Paul S. When I finished, Parker went next, blah, 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 blah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yep.
And that's about it for my grammar-related discrepancies.
All right. So, now we're going to actual thoughts. So, I'm going to start with this quote. Kimber nodded eagerly in agreement, her dark orange curls bouncing off of her tiny shoulders. Yep, it's true, Sam. If you enter the treehouse without the proper ceremony, you'll disappear and then you'll die. That sounds ominous for a childhood hideout place. Also, thank you. In-story, in-play, name-dropping of the narrator. Kudos. Followed by, yeah, we'll show you. We just have to go get a knife for the ceremony and we'll go. What? Why do you need a knife? Is it a blood ceremony? I whispered. Red flag. What's going on? Mm-hmm. It was just yeah, we're gonna start this blood ceremony.
Yeah, if they just responded with that, it's yeah,
we need a knife for the ceremony.
You need to have this knife all the way through your palm.
You just need to kneel before the tree and look up to the sky. Don't worry, we'll be right behind you with the knife. It's yeah. But then we go. It's I actually kind of liked the subterfuger because you think it's gonna be something again like a blood ceremony or something like that, and then they just hand him the knife to carve his name in the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's actually is legitimately not creepy yet.
Yes.
And then we have. This part that kind of struck me when I first read it. Parker went next, but had so much trouble with the knife that Kyle had to do it for him. I wonder if that'll have any repercussions later in the stories. Because, he didn't write his own name. And it's a ceremony, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to have any repercussions regarding that. Because Parker didn't put his name in.
It depends whether or not he took the knife from him and did it for him, or if he held his hand
and did it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I think we can all agree that the key is you have to sing the song.
Yeah.
Because clearly that's what Whitney didn't do.
Yeah, Whitney probably didn't do that.
Possibly.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll find out in the next couple stories.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is, after what seemed like 10 whole minutes, the sound ended as suddenly as it had begun. What was that? I asked, and Parker mumbled something into Kimber's sweatshirt. Do you guys know? I tried again. Kimber stared at her feet as she crossed and uncrossed them. Well, it's nothing, Kyle answered finally. We hear it sometimes in town. It's not a big deal. It's just louder up here. But what's making that sound? Borrasca, Kimber whispered without taking her eyes off her feet. Tidal drop. Honestly, really...
First part could have ended there.
Yeah. Really liked this moment in the story because it contrasts with, like, the childhood shenanigans and, like, adventure with something really weird and creepy happening, followed by ominous reveal by the characters as to... that are in the know of the said thing. Like, kind of felt very... Like, I could see this playing out in a movie theater, like, cinematically. Like, because they're all having fun and some of that, and then that grinding sound happens, and they're like... there's no music, nothing at all going on. They're just, like... It's just panning their faces, like, looking at it, like, their reactions to the sound. And then when the new guy's inquiring about it, then somebody finally drops the name of it, like... with like almost like a crescendo tone or like a violin string attack, like strike. Mm-hmm. Like it would, I really liked how cinematic moments of this story were regarding that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then there's this part of the story. This is during like their recess thing. You tell them. No, you saw them, so you tell them. I didn't see them. Paige saw them. In that moment, I was just like, oh boy, we're getting an Ant-Man style montage time. Well, I just envisioned like a phone tag moment of like kids like getting like pulled in to like find out. Oh, I didn't see the Skin Man. This guy, Jimmy did. Oh, Jimmy comes over. It's like, no man, I didn't see Jim. I didn't see the Skin Man. Tommy did. And then there's like, no, Tommy, no, I didn't see it. I heard Philomena's brother Billy did, and then like she goes like fast forward,
and then she goes through all the kids, and then the last kid mentions some kid at the other school, so then they have to walk over there.
Yeah, but then we get this. Who's Paige? I asked when she'd gone. Her sister, Phil said. Paige disappeared when we were like 5. Kyle said. After she saw the Skin Men, Phil added. Oh, well, the mood just back to dread and creepiness and sadness now. Mm-hmm. As the person that they were talking about has gone missing.
Yeah.
Suddenly my silliness. And again, that's what the story kind of does. Like it's kind of like a good roller coaster in that we get like high points and then we get like creepy low points, like scare points, or dread points.
Are you awarding it a lot of dread points? Are you awarding this story a lot of dread points so far?
Yeah,
that's good.
Good revelations, or like dread drops.
Would you say that you're judging the dread?
I am indeed judging the dread.
That's good. Okay.
For I am the love.
Love dread.
I am the love.
Yeah.
Anyway, my next one. Okay, so this is that I mentioned earlier in the rundown. The badass comeback.
Oh yes.
You're bad people who make poor life choices, Kyle yelled at them. When I'm your boss someday, I'll make you clean bathrooms. Yeah, and if Kyle's your boss, you know you messed up, I added. Kyle and I high-fived and turned to Kimberly, but she wasn't sharing in our victory. Yeah, you showed them. What? Admittedly, this is something a 9 or 10-year-old would do as comeback.
This is an awesome comeback.
It's like,
especially since like they're giving each other shit, but it actually does make it worse on them as well.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like it was like I had to like step back. It's like, yeah, you showed them. You just insulted your friend, your best friend.
Yeah, but it transferred that power into the insult.
Yeah, he took the lightning blast, like the current of the insult, through his body, and then struck it out the other way.
It still damaged him on the way through.
He did it in a way that doesn't damage him. So it's like he's good.
Fair.
He's actually what is it? He's actually a comeback bender. He knows how to like direct the counter back at somewhere else.
I see. The insult bender.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Yes.
God damn it, we're stupid.
Duh. Are you stupid? Of course we're stupid.
Quick aside, I want that as a t-shirt. We're so stupid, and then on the back, a duh.
A duh.
Alright, anyway. Alright. This one, and then, silliness aside from, like, that previous thing, This one I actually had like a legit like comment about like life in the Ozarks. So I snuck my bike out of the garage and rode the 3 miles to the West Rim Prescott Ore Trail. Jesus, that's a fucking long name. To the West Rim Prescott Ore Trail. When I got there, I saw 2 bikes already locked to the signpost and my 2 best friends sitting in the snow next to them. Is biking in the winter a common thing? Because I didn't think it was.
You can. If you have a proper bike for it.
Yeah, I guess if you have a proper bike, yeah. But
You can. It really depends on your reasoning. As a kid, the most reason you would have is if you had a paper route.
gotcha.
It makes it so much easier, but then it's also super dangerous because I mean snow.
Yeah.
And then going on a snow trail with a bike just seems like the stupidest.
Well, this is also assuming like they're going down one of the, or they're following, like he's following roads to get there, and then presumably there's like a larger like main path that he's taking before they get to the trailhead that goes out to the triple tree. Mm-hmm. So maybe like that's why they walk out to the triple trees, because the trail isn't as well groomed or isn't as well pacted.
Mm-hmm. Well, they walked last time as well.
But they parked their bikes at the trailhead. So yeah. It was just like, because it just threw me off as like biking in the winter. Like it's like I know it's a thing, but it's just like, is that?
Can you put chains on the tires? I guess you could.
Yeah, I think there is ways of doing it. But.
You also have to think that this is in the Ozarks. Do they get snow in winter?
Do they get?
It said snow. They're sitting in the snow.
Yeah, they were sitting in the snow. They had, and they also.
That being said, it could be this much snow.
They also mentioned previously that they had like a fair amount of snow come down. Now, a fair amount of snow in Missouri is not the same. I don't. Now, mind you, the Ozarks is elevated land because it is mountainous. Okay. So maybe it is like kind of similar to us, where like we get a lot of snow because we're up on hills and we're up in the north. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, when I think of like Missouri's also pretty like far south.
It's just different because like in Toronto, if they get an inch of snow, it shuts the freaking city down.
Yeah.
Out here, it's like a normal snowfall is 2 feet. It's like that's normal.
Yeah. we might get some buses that can't make it because of the road, or they don't want they don't want to risk it. But like everybody else, like buck up, you got to go to work.
Yeah. So a fair amount of snow is kind of dependent on where you are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It could be just like if there's enough to make a snowball.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
fair.
Yeah. And they're sitting in the snow, all like an inch of it.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And that is my actual thoughts so far. Mikey.
Alright, I'll start off with a quote. Kimber kept up with us so well that she quickly became the third wheel on our tricycle.
That's an interesting way of thinking about the the Triforce friends.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I took it literally. They became a tricycle.
Nice.
Of course you did.
Interesting. She's like bends over and like becomes a huge front wheel. And the other's like
crack, crack.
Yeah, it's normal.
Okay. The next quote I have is, by the time the first day of school rolled around in September, I knew I was home. So I'm just envisioning the kid waking up for his first day of school and says to himself, I am home. It's like, yep.
Home.
And then his parents come in and he's like, you should be in school. It's the first day of school. Get out.
But I'm home.
Cue Ferris Bueller music. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, bump, bump. As he's like jumping over. It's his trying to get to school. Yeah, it's silly.
Alright. And then here's a thought that I had as we didn't have many characters, or the description of characters.
A lot of characters.
A lot of characters.
I stopped making notes of character names because there were so many.
We didn't have many descriptions of characters, I should say. So I was beginning to think, is everyone in this town's hair red? Because we get Kyle's a redhead, Kimber has orange curls, and then the next description we have is Parker, which has brown hair. So it's like, okay.
And is distinctively not like his brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he was weird, so it's like within his family, he's strange, so it is assumed that the mother and father are also redheads.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I just realized, based on Kyle's description,
It's Kyle from South Park.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah,
the kid, even the younger brother,
the younger
is like,
brother.
Ike.
Yeah,
Holy shit!
yeah, it's pretty excellent.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I don't know how to feel about that.
it's pretty great, right?
They're in South Park.
Yeah.
I think somebody in the I think I remember somebody in the comments of the Reddit saying that it reminded them of South Park.
Yeah.
Alright.
If his brother was actually like adopted or something, then 100% South Park.
Well, it'd have to be adopted Canadian.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed, and named Ike, and then living in South Park,
And this is not
and their last name being Borrasca.
And this just isn't Borrasca at all. This is just South Park.
Yes, exactly.
Alright, my next quote here is, I went room to room, 4 in total, and found nothing of real interest until the last one. An old mattress lay in the corner and piles of musty, ripped clothing scattered the floor. And I'm thinking to myself, this is one luxurious tree fort.
Yeah.
Like 4 rooms?
It was cool. It was.
It was awesome.
And it was. I thought it was just cool.
He said, it's awesome.
Oh, they said it's cool.
No.
Like, yeah, I remember that being downplayed. Like, he didn't really.
No, he's like, it's ... It's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I think it was the word "pretty" that kind of downplayed it. Then.
No, because it's like, that's pretty awesome, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's more impressive? That's pretty awesome, or that's awesome.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
It's just awesome.
it's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. It's not quite awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just visualizing that it's kind of hard because the biggest tree fort I've seen only had 1 room.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Ernest Scared Stupid,
Yeah.
which is a movie representation
God.
of this creepypasta.
No, which is like what every kid wants their treehouse to be,
Oh yeah.
hands down.
Or you haven't seen South Park when they make a massive treehouse.
Yeah, because even the treehouses I had as a kid, like, well, first off, it wasn't a treehouse because it wasn't on a tree; it was on support beams. My dad used basically scaffolding as the supports, and then he just built basically a shed on top of it, and that was our treehouse.
It's more like a watchtower.
Yeah, no, it really was.
Yeah. Use
and then
sticks as a gun.
Although our one of our neighbors at the cottage had they'd actually installed a between 3 trees actually. They put scaffolding over like between the 3 trees and then built the house like a hut over top of that. But that was also only 1 floor.
This is 1 floor as well. It's just 4 rooms.
Yeah, no, but it was 1 room with 1 floor. Like the center of the single room had the opening that went down into a rope ladder.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've never actually seen a multi-roomed treehouse.
You haven't seen one that's pretty awesome. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen one that's cool, but super cool. Even like super cool is just under
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
and I've only seen cool treehouses.
Yeah. We should go out and make one that's just straight
We
awesome.
could make one for my niece.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we're getting back to
I want to make one for us, though. We have it like at the very top of a tree.
Yeah, but then I'm just
Like, it takes 5 minutes to climb up.
God, so it's the one from Secret World Legends.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like up in like a redwood tree.
Yeah,
You have
but
to,
it's okay. There's no fall damage.
Yeah, thank God.
So, in real life.
Okay, I feel we are getting sidetracked.
Are
Mikey.
Yeah, but we could have the nitpick treehouse.
Oh.
Yeah, or at least a nook in the treehouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Alright. Alright, so the next quote here. Kimber was in the middle of reciting the alphabet backwards when a loud metallic grinding suddenly pierced the calm mountain air like a gunshot. Kimber stopped talking, and we spent a few minutes staring at each other, waiting for the noise to end. Parker curled into Kimber and put his hands over his ears. After what seemed like 10 whole minutes, the sound ended as suddenly as it had begun. The issue that I had
I was trying to figure that out.
is that it says, like a gunshot.
Okay, the reason why it's there, it's not to describe the sound as a gunshot. It's because of how, like, suddenly it happened.
How suddenly it appeared.
Yeah.
Not how suddenly it passed.
Yeah.
It's not bang!
Yeah, it's just like, if we heard a gunshot now, we'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's that reaction.
The main thing I think he's getting at is a gunshot is instant, loud, and almost instantly goes away. But this is... It's like a gunshot in how it arrived.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a gunshot that lasted 10 minutes.
No, it's just describing its appearance, or its arrival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's sudden and, like, loud, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's what... Or, like...
It arrived like a gunshot and stayed like...
Like a train, like a freight train.
Sure, yeah. There you go.
That's actually pretty...
That's not bad.
That's actually not a bad one, because, like, because freight trains last forever. As somebody who has to wait for them half the time going to work.
Wait, Train in the Forest? Didn't we see a Creepypasta about that? Search and Rescue Woods or something like that?
Yeah, that wasn't Search and Rescue Woods, yeah.
They look over and there's a staircase.
Man, what is with forests are fucking creepy.
They are, yeah. Just the way of things.
Alright, and this is just a personal thing that I put here, is that I found the name Kimber annoying and just wanted 2 more letters.
You want Kimberly?
Yeah. Because my mind kept auto-correcting to Kimberly.
It is an odd name. It grew on me, but even, like, I was like...
Do you mean by mind, you mean your phone autocorrects for you? Constantly going to Kimberly?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was when I was reading it.
Yeah, no, I remember, like, reading it. Kimberly?
That's probably the full name,
yeah.
but she doesn't like it shortened formed all the way down to Kim.
think so. I think
so they kind of have to have a happy medium.
Well, she doesn't like Kim. Right?
Does it say that?
Yeah,
Well, there you go. They had to come up with another way to shorten it.
Maybe, I don't know. Kimber could be her full name. Like, it's just a weird... Is it
weird? I don't know.
It's just a unique name, or like a unique seeming name, because, like, yeah, most of the time I hear Kim or Kimberly. I never hear Kimber. But that could just be something that we don't really get much up in the north.
I hear what I read.
Where,
Oh, you mean like in this area?
Yeah.
I thought you meant in the story. It's like I heard what they say every time.
no, yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
I meant in real life. I've never heard somebody named
Well,
Kim.
how else would you short form Kimberly without going to Kim? Kimberly.
K.
Okay. Yeah. Kimberly.
Kimba.
Yeah.
Kimbe.
Kimbetch.
Wow.
I'm sure she'd like that.
Rude.
Yes.
Don't be one of those mean girls.
No, that's what the mean girls call it.
Yeah.
Alright, the next one I have here is, I made the international symbol of mind blown and we laughed hysterically.
Well, yeah.
There is no international symbol.
Not for adults, but for kids. Like,
But there is no international symbol.
You're not from here. You're from space and
why
time.
are you gonna ruin children's fun, man? Like, for the audience at home, I'm just having my hands just
They all know because it's international.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You should know.
Anyone in the comments that didn't understand what an international mind-blown symbol
Like,
is, let us know.
Well,
Yes.
if you look it up, you find multiple iterations of mind blown.
Really?
Yes.
Show me some.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's all you need.
Two different
hands exploding like from your head.
It could be like...
Yeah.
It could be like...
No, that's obviously the international side for vomiting.
Yes, indeed.
Like gross.
Eyes got blown out of my sockets.
Yeah, I was like.
This is really great for an audio podcast.
It really is.
All I hear is... It sounds like we're having a lightsaber battle.
But yeah, honestly, something if like I would actually be really curious to see if anybody else like did get that.
I'm assuming you actually understood it. It's just
You're being
using
critically
the semantics of it.
You're being critically
Yeah,
silly.
fair. Okay.
Okay.
I want to know if there was an international mind blown symbol.
And there isn't, but there is. It's just not official. There's the unofficial international.
Okay, so if it's an unofficial, then it.
Well, no, because like as a kid, it might as well be the international symbol because everyone knows what that means.
Yeah.
10 minutes later.
But you see, national.
Joke over.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's the end of my actual thoughts.
Shit.
Thanks for calling his notes shit.
No. It was like shit. That was fast.
It's not that fast. I had a few.
That's fair.
We also tend to chime in when others
We
speak.
do. We like the we like the sound of our own voices.
Well, some of us do.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'll just leave.
Okay, cool. Thank God he's gone.
That was fast.
Yeah. Shit. Anyways, so really early on, is it actually the first line? I'm just gonna double check real quick. Yeah.
It's a long story?
Yes. Cool. Is it the first line?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so first line is, it's a long story, but one you've never heard before. I think that most long stories are ones that people haven't known before, especially if it's a personal story.
Also, and then when Susie said, like, it's like, this takes place on a mountain, it's like, I've heard stories about mountains. On mountains.
You haven't heard this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you know the truth, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Which does kind of make me wonder what twist we're going to get at the end of the story. Because there's going to be some weird, like, twist where, like, or something.
It doesn't have to twist.
It sometimes does.
It doesn't have to. It could just be revealed, oh, this is what's happening.
It'd
Okay.
be interesting if it was.
Yeah. I have a recommendation.
Yeah, I actually do. Yeah, we have a whole. I
didn't think about recommendations.
What? I should have mentioned that. Like, it's a multi-parter, man.
I know.
Well, we have multi-parters. We have to have some recommendations.
Fine, I'll come with it on the spot.
All right.
Anyways, yeah. Long story you haven't heard before, of course, because it's a creepypasta. Every long creepypasta we've read, we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
It just it's almost a redundant statement.
It almost again, like that's it's kind of like the last one we had. I'm not scared. Where it's like I need to be brief.
Oh, like, then totally not brief.
Yeah, it's like this one's like here's a long story. It's like you don't need that. You don't need that part of the story. Like you can leave that whole. Everything else in that paragraph could stay, but like this is a long story that you've never heard of. You don't need that.
Because that also makes it seem like it's a dude sitting down talking to other people about it, which means the entire thing is dialogue.
I mean, to be fair, he is like it's the way actually I interpreted it is it's like Stand By Me or again other Stephen King novels where it's the guy writing the story like years after, like it's a memoir kind of thing, or like where the person has become a writer and they're writing the story down, which isn't entirely far off from what the story actually seems to be.
Pretty much, yeah. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
When he's asking about which stores that Prescott owns, I believe. So which ones? Does he own the GameStop? The only store Drisking ever cared about? And my answer is just, a kid after my own heart.
Yeah.
I like this character already.
I figured you would.
Yes, indeed. It's the only important store. And then the whole situation with the C4 and the drinking water.
It's so silly. Sorry, yeah.
I understand they are kids.
Yeah.
But realistically about it, saying that they could just randomly blow up, not true at all. I didn't look anything up. I just know this.
I just know things.
Yeah, I do. I know all things that are necessary for me to know. But yeah, C4 is actually really stable on its own. Like, you could set it on fire.
Does it just need an electric charge?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if they get hit by lightning, or if they did socks on the carpet, possibly, but you won't blow up by doing nothing.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, if you get struck by lightning, there's other problems that are accumulated other
People
than
have survived being hit by lightning.
Yeah, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but if your blood is mixed with C4,
It's
I don't know if it would actually make you blow up, but you know.
Oh god, that would suck so much. Anyway,
If you happen to be holding a brick of C4 as you get hit by lightning, bad things might happen if it transfers through it, which it might not, because it might just immediately ground and not go into your hands unless you're holding it up, and then the C4 gets directly hit. Then maybe. Thinking a little too literal about it.
Yes.
Either way.
I will say, like, just added another bit of my own 2 cents. Just throwing money at you guys.
Cool. We're getting paid this time.
Yes. Those segments of the story did kind of make it for me. Did warm me up to the characters a lot because they're being so stupid, but it did really feel like they were just being kids.
Yes.
Even when he thought he could help with the investigation, like, and his like thought process, like, I know what's going on. It's not the stuff that adults thinking. They're not thinking about it properly. It's like, that is exactly how a kid would think. Like, it's like, no, the adults are wrong. Like, I'm right. Like, and it's like such a like they're like Kimberly's obviously like something's like missing because she didn't go to she's gone to Borrasca. Because this weird ghost story thing I've heard of. It's like it's movie cliche, but it also makes sense in the mind of a child.
Yeah.
I think that's what I really enjoyed about those parts of the story is just that it does capture like childhood behavior.
Yeah. And I agree with you, because I like all the quote-unquote mundane sections where it's just them living out their lives, because it builds the characters and makes you care about them. A lot of times in creepypastas is just like, this character's named Billy Bob, and that's Jim. Well, Jim gets attacked and killed. When
in the recess thing, when the big kid showed up and hey, you're Sam. I was like, oh, we're gonna get the bully and like come out, and it's like your sister's dating my brother. And it's like, oh, like it was like, are you guys friends now? Because your sister is dating his brother?
Yes.
Like, it was like, kind of, like, I was expecting it to go, like, the movie cliche, but then it just kind of went, like just being informed, like, the guy just like, oh, your sister's dating my brother.
I have to tell you this based on the plot. Yeah. So you have this information for later. But
it's like, yeah.
That'd be weird if he actually came up and said that. What are you talking about?
It's like, oh yeah? Well, your brother's dating my sister, so I get to beat you up.
Yeah, clear. Those are the rules of engagement on the recess playmat or playgrounds.
Indeed. Yes. We've all been there.
But yes, good enough, sorry.
I'm done. I didn't write down many things because I liked a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's usually the thing with my notes. If I don't have a lot of notes, it's generally because I didn't stumble over things.
Fair. All right, so we'll go into final thoughts. Also, like, I mean, again, like, that's one of the reasons why, like, I do try and like jot note of positive things because, so many times you hear like critics and reviewers online and some of that comment about the bad things. Mm-hmm. Occasionally, you get some people that like do both good and bad. And I like those. I prefer those ones better more than like the ones that are just always angry all the time.
Yeah, no one likes to be Nancy.
Yeah,
unless your name is Nancy, then it's fine. But as long as you're not negative about it.
Yeah, as long as you're not negative Nancy.
Mm-hmm, indeed.
At least negative Nancy all the time, or when it's like not necessarily needed.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole idea of negative Nancy. You're negative Nancy if you are negative all the time when it's not needed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not when it's like, I'm trying to think of something bad, but not too bad. That tree fell over and broke my car. Goddamn Mother Nature! I have to buy a new car. Like that's not being a negative Nancy.
No, that's being pissed off at life.
Yes, indeed.
And that's like a valid moment because now you have to pay like $26,000 plus on your car.
Even if you went down chopping down all the trees on your property, that's still not you being overly negative.
Yeah,
that's just being precautionary.
Yeah,
but I think we're getting
okay. Back to final thoughts.
Oh, right,
on to final thoughts. I was going to read out the final quote of the story, but you already did it previously and.
Stole my thunder, thank you.
No, I don't need to reread that quote. Yeah. Again, I agree. Like I said earlier, I love that ending. Like it was a nice cinematic like paragraph. And then we'll go into my actual final thoughts with that. So, this story thus far is pretty good at blending of nice and creepy emotions into a scene, like contrasting happy childhood moments and sequences of friends like becoming friends and normal life adventures with those of a lingering dread and a mystery with the metallic noises and Borrasca, and then later with the disappearance of Whitney. When the latter happened in the story, like when Whitney like went missing, like when he got called out of class and stuff like that, I actually felt a lurch in my stomach as I was reading it, like, oh shit, the bad shit is happening now.
Yeah.
Like, we are shit is getting real.
Especially since the sentence right before that is like the happy moments of like faking exploding because of C4 was the last happy moments I ever remember.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, what's about to happen? It's like, yeah, and like we got to know, like we didn't get to know Whitney that much, but we got to know like her relationship with her family and with her brother and stuff like that. So we got to know what Sammy was like and like his friends right up to this point. Mm-hmm. And now, like the dark horror aspect of the story is kicking into gear.
Yep.
So, So to me, I'm thus far enjoying reading the story. Like, is it the best creepypasta of 2015?
You haven't read it all, so
I don't know. We haven't read it all, but it's got a good start. Mm-hmm. It's got a decent start.
It's got a pretty cool start.
It's got a pretty awesome start.
Yeah. Is it cool or awesome?
It's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
God damn it! All right, fine.
Awesome. So for my recommendations, I'm calling it right now. The Sheriff Cleary is in on whatever is afoot here. I don't know why, but as soon as he showed up, started being very friendly.
He showed up being
very friendly to Sammy because I get because his dad's the sheriff. And his dad's apparently being supposedly being groomed. Yes, Mister. Yeah, yes, Gamer Yellow.
He showed up being friendly. He didn't show up being friendly. He showed up looking intimidating.
And then
from the get-go, they made him
well, hi there, boys.
Yeah, but then he turned out to be nice.
Yeah, it's like, please call me my first name. I can't remember it right now. It was something
Gerald.
No. It was like call me Keith or Keelan or something like that.
Call me.
It's right at the very end.
It's not at the very end.
Yeah, it is. Right. It's when they're doing when he's like they're
Killian.
Killian. That's why. Like,
he has the word "kill" in his name.
No, Killian. And maybe again, I might be biased because every time every Killian I've ever read in a story has been a villain.
They said every Killian I've met has been an asshole.
But please call me Killian. It was like you were so behind some or you're totally covering up some of this shit. And also, I want to say that James Prescott and his dad are or I want to say that James is behind something, but I feel like he might be a red herring, and his dad might end up actually being the one behind what's going on as well.
I think it might be a red herring the other way around, because the father went crazy, which means he's, as an insane person, he is set up to be the villain.
It just seems like James is too James is being too already giving the characters the willies. It's like, is this just like I'm genre savvy enough? Like I've seen this character too many times in writing where they are they're trying to be super happy go, and this is supposed to actually be the villain.
But you're saying that he's a red herring because he's giving them the willies. It would be a red herring. So you're saying that he's not the villain?
I don't think he is. Like, honestly, to me, what he seems like for Harry, anybody who has read Harry Potter, he's coming off as Gilbert Godfrey, or the one really charismatic asshole who actually stole all of his adventures off of people that he brainwashed, and then he basically is a phony, he's a con artist, and has never actually done any of the stuff that he promotes himself to have done. Gilbert Gottfried, or that's
an actual actor's name.
No. That's it. Oh yeah. That is the name. The actual character.
Is that the actor?
Future me.
What?
Now.
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Thank you. That guy. Where he's super charismatic and but you know that he's phony from the get-go, and you know that there's something he's not he's hiding. And at the end you find out he was hiding something. So it could be that way. I kind of don't want it to be. I kind of want him to actually be a red herring in the story. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the story is going to basically have it that he is involved with what's going on. Same with and the Prescotts are going to be behind something as well. Just with the way it's been projecting, the Prescotts as being the saviors of the town, and being the higher ups, and the private property that's up on the mountain, and that's where the noises come from. It's that's got to be owned by the Prescotts. The Prescotts got to be behind something.
Yeah,
but it would be really cool if the series did shirk away from that trope and have them be red herring.
Yeah, it's the Prescotts have been defending the town from this private property that some crazy people lived on.
They're just completely not in the know. They're just people like higher ups in the town that just have no involvement in what's going on. But
the Prescott division of the Supernatural Task Force, their entire family does that to protect the town.
You wanted to say something?
It's clearly Mr. Verdi or Mr. Diamond.
Yeah, Mr. Verdi maybe, because she's Although again, I feel like that. Yeah, maybe we'll have to see.
Is she the mean teacher?
Yeah,
she's
she's
the
the
main
main street
teacher.
teacher.
Oh, then
Mr.
of course
and
she's
Mr.
the
Diamond's
villain.
the awesome teacher.
Yeah. Because it could be Mr. Diamond because he's so awesome that he's hiding it. But then it could also be Miss DeVerde because she's
super
so
strict.
strict and whatnot, and she's been there a really long time. So she has the private property in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we'll have to see on that because it could just be me like being genre savvy against the story and like picking away and like reading into tropes for it. Apart from that, the poem is also off-putting, given what we learn about the mountain and the mine shafts. Like, I have a feeling there's going to be like a cave or tunnel system like that didn't blow up, and that's where like the people have been like basically like grabbing people from underneath the tree house. Like maybe there's a secret like doorway in the tree house, like up in the center of the tree house, or like near the tree house that people
Like you come out through the roots and then climb up and.
or maybe because if it's a triple tree, I kind of envision it being like a three-pronged tree, kind of like.
Or is it
cluster.
3 trees?
Yeah, 3 trees.
Is it 3 trees?
I would assume it'd be 3 trees for 4 rooms.
Yeah, so it's like I have a feeling like somewhere near the tree is like there's gonna be like there's actually some kind of secret alcove or like secret opening that comes in from like underground, and like that's where like the people grab people. Also, another creepy thing. What if the reason why the kids are being told to like write their names is so that the person who's like taking them and disappearing them knows who to cat, like from town, like find out about them in town.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's something, like I said, we'll have to see because we are only in part 1 of 4, potentially 5. Apparently, there is a part 5 of the story, from what I heard.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see by part 4 if we need to read part 5.
Of course.
Spoilers, we probably need to read part 5. But regardless, yeah, like that, the whole mineshaft thing. I was like, there's got to be something like to do with that, like that, with especially tied with the poem that the kids have to read about a man underground or under the tree. But yeah, so far, I would. So far, I'd recommend the story as it is right now. We'll see if that changes as the story goes. But like, I did really enjoy the blending of like the positive like childhood adventures with this lingering dread and mystery of like the weird noises and the disappearances, and it does like that mystery, like that disappearance at the end of the story with the sister going missing, got me involved. I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? Like, what's going to happen to her? Where'd she go? So it did definitely left me wanting to read more. But that is my recommendations, and final thoughts. Mikey.
Alright. So, I guess recommendation first. It's a good start. There's some mystery, and it leaves you wanting to know more.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then, onwards to recommendations. So, my theory is that because it's a mining town, right? And the mine has run out of iron.
Yeah.
But the Prescott stayed behind and basically revitalized it. No. They found a way to turn trees into iron. And therefore, they have a mill.
Ironwood.
Yeah. They have a mill. And every so often, they have to cut the tree, which is made of iron, so it's metal on metal grinding sound.
Okay.
Which is what we're getting.
Yeah.
Every so often.
Honestly, I don't know what that... Like, the best I can guess is that sound is like... Yeah, some kind of machinery in the mountain. Like, on that property, obviously. But I'm not sure if it's like mining gear or lumbering gear. But you're promoting that it's both.
Yes.
That isn't it. We'll see how that plans out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
But what about the disappearing people? Or the kids?
the disappearing people. Well, they actually turned into skinned men because they found out about the whole iron tree situation.
Yeah.
And they actually became infected with whatever causes the
tree
trees
virus
to turn into iron. So that actually turns them into more robotic-like looking creatures.
Or
And
what if
they
they're-
rust. So the rust makes it look like they have no skin.
Or their skin becomes like bark and it sheds off. Thus, they are the skinned men.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're the workforce for this ironwood tree situation, and because it's metal and like it's heating up and everything, all the people that are working there's such an aura of heat around it that just burns all of your skin off specifically.
Yeah, but keeps you alive.
Yeah, somehow.
Constant agony.
Magic.
Yes.
That's another aspect that hasn't been introduced in this yet.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have a feeling this is going to be like explained through like real means, and this is going to be like a really creepy real world thing.
I'm down.
Well,
like all the supposed supernatural elements are just going to be like mundane explanations.
yeah. Well, going supernatural.
Yes.
So we don't actually get to meet old Mr. Prescott.
Not yet.
So he could have essentially iron touch. So it's like Midas touch, but it turns things into iron.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's why he's gone crazy over the years, because he can't hold his family anymore. For fear of turning them into the skinned men.
Yep.
Or iron bark touch. So like ironwood touch. So he like turns them into the iron trees.
Yep.
Yes.
Tree, skeleton. Skinman.
Skimmin. Yeah, all of them get renamed, and all their last name is Skimmin. Mm-hmm.
It's like Sleeman.
Yes.
And then thinking about this fort that has 4 rooms.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that whoever owns the land and the fort
The
itself
Prescotts.
They own everything.
has set
Except
up
the GameStop.
that they've set up hidden cameras. So they know when somebody doesn't perform the ritual.
Yeah.
So they know, this person didn't perform the ritual. We got to take them out. Yeah.
Yep.
Do they just have like a guard living under the tree all the time?
The first skinned man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I just imagine some overweight dude just like sitting in a computer room underneath a tree. It's like a whole bunch of monitors just sitting there. It's like, alright, is he going to say the ritual? Alright, fine.
Did he carve it into the wood? Yep.
Alright,
Checks
fine.
out.
That kid had his brother carve it for him.
I gotta call up to High Command.
He's about to start like walking up the ladder, but then he sees that they're both like do the ritual. It's like, fuck. All right.
Or like he picks up the phone. He's like, Mr. Prescott, he carved it in, but like his brother had to help him. Is that okay? All right, you gotta check with your dad. All right, I'll wait here. Like it's all super like mundane in the way.
He's like, you know what? I'm too fucking lazy to even get up there. No, fuck.
No, he's getting paid for it. He'd have to.
That's true.
You know, it's his job. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my...
So you're hoping for
Theory.
supernatural like means to this?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, the read of the story was pretty awesome. I would have to say. I only stumbled a couple of times, so that's a good sign. I liked all the character building. It gets you invested in the characters. Like, for example, Sam's mother, who is probably one of the ones that has the least amount of character development and explanation, they have more character development than most characters in creepypastas.
Most parents in creepypastas.
Yes, and most parents as well.
A handful,
sure.
like let's face it, remember Bedtimes, the Bedtime series?
Vaguely.
Where like the characters' parents were basically just cardboard cutouts, as we described them when we first did that. Yeah.
But yeah. That being said, Kyle's parents aren't really described whatsoever.
No, like they really because they're
They don't need to be.
Yeah, they're superfluous right now.
Yeah.
Like perhaps later, as we again like a kid, like this is kind of being told from like the kid's point of view, like years later, but from that kid's point of view. So he doesn't they're not really necessary to the story until they become involved in the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That being said, I believe his mother said like, I don't care if you're going to watch a marathon of Poltergeist, you're taking your little brother with you. I need a break.
Yeah.
So there is still some character
you get some things. Like, yeah, like obviously, and like with Kyle's like behavior, like again, like being like swearing and not giving a shit. Mm-hmm. Maybe he has a little bit of trouble at home as well because of that. Like you can glean information about the families naturally in the story.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, again, I didn't really have a problem with it, and I'm interested to see how it's going to go. Mm-hmm. For how I think it's going to go, I'm not really sure. I always enjoy the supernatural way, but if they do it in a mundane way, kind of like the dude in the basement with the little security room or something like super mundane and weird like that, like as silly as that is, I could also see that be a thing.
Yeah, I have
because if they if they give a reason as to why they kidnap the kids, or
I have a feeling this could get really dark, like in a realistic way, like human child trafficking or something.
Yeah.
I'm just calling that out now. I've purposely been trying not to read anything about the plot of the story.
Yeah.
But from just like the story, like the fact that it's on Reddit, NoSleep, and they try to make realistic horror stories. Try to make realistic horror stories.
As you air quote.
I mean, come on, like there's been a few of them that are just like that is not a realistic story. That wasn't my husband was sitting next to me last night. Turned into a 6-part like thing with like demons. Like
Pretty realistic.
Yeah, clearly.
It's fine.
But with this one, I feel like it's going to go into like a more like brutal, realistic like horror. It would be nice if there were some supernatural elements.
Yeah, but I wouldn't feel cheated if there isn't. Like I don't go into these expecting it. In fact, I'm fine with mundane horror because it's kind of creepier.
Yeah, because it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it is mundane, it doesn't really have to be... If it's supernatural, if you explain it too much, there's a problem.
Yeah,
but with mundane, if you explain it too much, it kind of makes it better.
Yeah.
Because you can...
You're like, oh...
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, like...
They're very different, and we'll see how it goes. But so far, yes, I'll recommend the story. At least this part, up to this point.
So far, yeah. So far, I think all of us can agree that this has been a pretty awesome start.
Mm-hmm. That being said, the ending, I didn't... Okay, I enjoyed...
No, that's fine, yeah.
Just before you attack me.
I'm not going to... I promise not to attack you.
Okay. I hated it. No, I did not. The layout of it was great and everything. I just didn't understand... At the end of it, almost seems like they're trying to do a twist. Like, they looked around and they found her name there. It's like, okay.
Yeah, okay,
that means she's safe. Great.
Or it means the kids were wrong in their assumption that, like, maybe she didn't do the ritual, or, like, maybe she did do the ritual. I will say it's a little convoluted as to, like... But I kind of got, like, swept away by the creepy sound, like, descending down, or, like, over... Where does it say? Fuck.
As the sun took his last desperate breath before plunging into the deep of the horizons, a deafening metallic whirl sang out from the wilderness and spilled down the mountainside.
Yeah, like I got swept away by that. Like it's like, oh, like because it kind of like brushed away any of my like issues with like that, like the fact that okay, her name's on the tree. Are you just like is it is he crying or like freaking out because he was wrong about his assumption that maybe she's at the tree house, and maybe she didn't put her name in the tree house and went up there and that's why she's missing? Well, no, she put her name in the treehouse, so maybe she wouldn't go missing, except unless she didn't do the ritual, like do the poem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like after that, it says like his vision blurred with unwelcome tears.
Yeah, because
he started crying after seeing it.
Yeah,
which means she was here,
or he was wrong about like her, like maybe, like, yeah, like it's a little. There's not a lot really. There's a lot here that's just read to be assumed.
Yeah.
But then you get swept away by the current of the cinematic last paragraph.
Kind of, yeah. But it can go one of two ways. Either she said the ritual, and she just was there, and now she's elsewhere.
Yeah, now this is actually not connected at all.
Yeah,
like because again, like that's the thing about the kids. Like point. This is what I like about the kid's point of view is like the kid like as an adult, you're reading his reaction to the parents and like the police officers ignoring his side of it. And, like, he's dead set. It's like, it's something to do with Borrasca. Like, she's gone missing because of Borrasca. And the adults aren't buying it because they're adults and they are following a logical point of view, whereas he's not logical.
His dad is also really good at ignoring him. He's kind of a dick, honestly.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think
the second time he's straight up ignored him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's a super dick.
No, there's way more dicky people, but
yeah, I think he's just maybe over busy or like stressed, like having to do with work. Now he's super stressed because one of his children is missing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't hold it against him too much.
Yeah, and again, this kid's like you also have to think like this kid's 9 years old. Like you don't really want to have your 9-year-old child having to worry about having to or getting in the way of trying to rescue your 14-year-old child.
That being said, right before he asked for any information, he's like, "Tell us anything you know, no matter how mundane anything is."
They did.
But
then, like,
as soon as he tried to say more, they're like, "No, you're done. Get out."
well, because
you had one shot.
It sounded to me like he was just going to repeat the same thing. Like he's like, no, like you guys don't understand. Like this is what's like what this is the key to finding her. It's like and they're just like, all right, we've taken this information. We'll put it into account, but we got to like figure out the rest of the information, like normal adults, like logical adults. But the kid isn't thinking logically. He's thinking like, I figured it out. I've solved it. I'm Nancy Drew, except a guy,
Nathan Drew.
yeah, I'm Nathan Drake, or like I'm a Hardy Boy. Like, I figured it out. Like, I'm going to save the day. I'm going to go to the treehouse and find my sister there, and like we're going to figure out what Borrasca's about. We're going to save the day, yeah. And then that ends up doing horribly when reality meets fantasy.
Yeah, I think you just described what's going to happen for the rest of the story as well. Because they're not going to sit in their town and do nothing.
Like,
they're going to go investigate.
Like, I reading this, I got some flashbacks to a movie I recently watched called Summer of '87.
Yeah.
Which is basically what happens when a real world kid is dealing with a real world serial killer in his neighborhood.
Oh, shit.
But treating it like the Monster Squad or the Goonies.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not spoiling the ending. Anyone who's listening to this and hasn't seen it, watch Summer of '87. It's going to be creepy and graphic in a realistic way, but it is amazing for that. And I'm kind of
say it's pretty awesome.
I'd say it's pretty awesome. Yeah. I'd say
it's amazing higher than awesome.
I'd say it's pretty awesome.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, no, honestly, it's a good like. It doesn't like. It has a lot of motifs similar to this story. Mm-hmm. And it's Canadian.
Oh, so it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's just straight awesome. It immediately gets elevated from pretty awesome to awesome.
Yeah, but sorry, I've taken over your spot again.
Yes, you have.
I'm sorry.
It's what it is.
It is my show technically.
No, really. I thought it's our show by now. You do most of the work, find the creepypastas, do all the editing, post it, and use all your time to upload it. But it's really our show.
Yeah, but we're the co-hosts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means we have priority.
We have a majority. There's more of us than there is of you.
Wow.
But yeah, the last thing I have to say is just I really like the visual of everything. Very cinematic, like you said. Reminded me of the Goonies and of Ernest Scared Stupid, which is you laugh, but that treehouse, is 100%.
You just saw that treehouse.
Yeah, I did. I really did, because it's just a huge treehouse, and like that's the only one I've seen of that size. So I had a good visual of it.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
so it's actually a troll underneath the.
Oh fuck! It's actually the guy. Yeah, it's actually they dug too deep in the mines, the Prescotts and like the companies before it, and they actually unearthed the Skin Man, which is a troll monster. Mm-hmm. He's like lost all his skin to like the sunlight because he's a troll, and when they hit sunlight, they get stony.
They get stoned.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Or it's just the security guard under there. Yeah. But because his day is so boring most of the time, he's also an internet troll.
I was going to say, no, he's a security troll.
Oh yeah, just combine everything. But he's also an internet troll as well.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
he's all things.
Yeah. So that's I guess that's it for tonight and for Borrasca Part 1. Like I said, we'll be doing Borrasca Part 2 next. So if you want to read up on that before we do, or before the next episode, go for it. We have not been reading the story. We have not read all the stories yet.
No.
We have been doing this one at a time.
Is this your favorite creepypasta so far?
What have we done in in the last? No, I don't.
It's my favorite this year.
Honestly, you know what we should do? We should do like an episode where we just do like a
top five creepypastas.
I'm not even. You want to start doing no, just one. Because way back when we did like me and Dr. Leviathan did like a top 5 favorite horror movies and top 5 guilty pleasures. Mm-hmm. I feel like we should do a top 5 like creepypastas we've done, like just kind of, and maybe top 5 worst that we didn't like.
Bottom 5.
Yeah, the bottom 5. Yeah, top 5 and bottom 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Then middle 5.
No,
they're all right.
We're just doing 2. We're not becoming a top 5 listing.
Oh, why not?
Because that's some other people's shtick.
I know.
But yeah, that's it for tonight. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment below wherever this gets posted. We're on iTunes and other streaming channels, so leave us a rating and review to let us know how we're doing and help us spread like a virus. You can talk to us on Twitter at Review Cultist. Mikey's at the E stands for evil. And the Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow without the W. You can also leave us an email at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERI GAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also send us messages and suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. We can also be found at crazonstudios.tumblr.com, crazon.deviantart.com, and on our YouTube channel, Al Dente Rigamortis, where we have each episode together with a title card as a visual. If you'd like to help support the show, you can go to Patreon, or you can become a patron. Go to Al Dente Rigamortis on Patreon and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at, and get some extra content as our thanks. At the $5 tier, we have early access to our regular show on Tuesdays before it's released on Thursdays. My two co-hosts also have a show of their own.
Yes, Al Dente Reloaded at this $5 tier, where Mikey and I go back to the good, the bad, and the ugly pastas that the cultists and the Doctor have done in the past, read them, and see what our thoughts are on them.
For the $2 tier, we provide some monthly specials, such as Al Dente Real Talk, where we discuss film media that has leanings to creepypasta-esque horror. There's also Actual Play Rigamortis, where we occasionally play and record tabletop games that have creepypasta themes. And if you can't get enough of my two co-hosts, they do have another show on this tier as well.
Al Dente Revelations, where Mikey and I continue our thoughts from Reloaded after listening to the old episodes that the cultists and the Doctor did, and see how our thoughts differ on them, and possibly have a mind-breaking revelation while doing so.
Cool.
And also making sure that art is properly put in its place.
Yes.
Why are you crying?
No, all right, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Something in your eye?
Yeah.
I understand.
To all our patrons, thank you immensely. You're keeping those hosting bills at bay, and we deeply appreciate that. And to those simply listening, and the authors of these stories, without you, we really wouldn't have much of a show. So thank you all the same. Until next time, I've been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.
There we go. We can start a band.
You'll be the Al Dentes.
I don't know how to play anything.
You'll be vocals.
Okay. I have the best voice.